It's basically been announced now. Jacoby Brissett's a starter for the Arizona Cardinals. Congrats to him.
Yeah. Wow.
Jacoby Brissett, former starter for the Indianapolis Colts. This man, I was pushing for him to be the MVP that season. He led the Indianapolis Colts whenever we were in the middle of a quarterback carousel in phenomenal ways. He was a leader. Everybody loved him. He was calling meetings. The team would obviously fight for him. He was doing an offense, Frank Reich, I believe, offense in a way that we hadn't seen. And it was like everybody's on board. This guy is leading the Colts to the promised land. Now, obviously, one thing leads to another. He ends up leaving us. He goes to another job, kind of bounces around. Jacoby Brissett, backup quarterback. Why is this guy still in the league? A lot of people say, well, it's because he's a damn good football player. And out there in Arizona, they haven't had a chance to be able to get him on the field. And that offense is executing better with him than anybody else we've seen, including Kyler Murray, who they just paid $200 million. We were talking to Bruce Arians yesterday, former coach of the Arizona Cardinals, and he said Kyler Murray's going to be starting quarterback for that team whenever he's healthy. A lot of money was given to Kyler Murray. There's no way they're just going to let that kind of just sit on the sideline. Then just a couple hours later, yep, we actually will do that. They're moving on with Jacoby. Let's go to their color commentator, the Arizona Cardinals, a man who knows this team a lot better than maybe anybody with the research that he's had to do to call these games for the Arizona Cardinals fans. And he rides the wave of the game.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he rides the wave. He kind of got shades of Myron Cope in there whenever he's talking about stuff, the legendary Pittsburgh Steelers commentator. AQ Shipley here. Now, AQ, obviously you played for the Arizona Cardinals amongst many other teams. You're a Super Bowl champion. Now you're doing color commentary for the team, for the local audience. What is the reaction out there? You know, because obviously BA's reaction was it will never happen because business-wise. Across the entire league, it's like Kyler Murray's upside, what he could be. He could be special, obviously. Very high draft pick, very high draft pick. In Arizona, how do they view it? Is everybody on board with Jacoby, like basically fan-wise? And what does this mean for the future, you think, with Kyler and the Cardinals?
They love Jacoby Brissett. He's been fantastic. And when you watch what he's done, when you look at him against the Colts, then to the Packers, two of the best teams in football, the offense was so much more fluid, so much more efficient. The ball is getting distributed to more people. He has been fantastic. And then he comes out against the Cowboys and was basically flawless. The one interesting thing, he's been fantastic on third and long, whereas you typically go draws, you go screens, you do all these things. He's hitting 3rd and 23, he's throwing a 43-yard pass, and they're getting first downs. He's been fantastic. He's great in the play action. He knows Drew Petzing, and he's distributing. He's thrown more touchdown passes to Trey McBride this year than he has thrown to Trey McBride from Kyler his entire career.
Yeah, I heard Trey McBride more touchdowns in like the last 3 games than Trey McBride and Kyler throughout the entirety of a couple of seasons. Adam Schefter reported that Kyler Murray and the Cardinals have consulted with multiple doctors on his foot injury and have been told the timetables for recovery have been anywhere from 4 to 8 weeks, 1 month to 2 months, with an increased chance of setback until it's properly healed. Murray now has more time to heal, while the Cardinals get a chance to kind of experience what Jacoby Brissett could be as a starter, D. But that's kind of that's good news. Get him completely healthy and also get a chance to see what it's like for Jacoby. That's in a good spot for the Arizona Cardinals, you think?
Yeah, it's a good spot. It's a good problem to have. Obviously, we always said, now, if you have 2 quarterbacks, you don't have any. So you do want to have a clear direction with whoever that guy will be. Now, with Kyler not being 100%, I know a lot of people were kind of calling this a soft benching. I did see a quote, I believe from Jonathan Gann. I don't know if it was confirmed. I did see Rap Sheet retweeted, so I kind of took it for, it being the truth, and then basically saying even if Kyler was healthy, they would be going forward with Jacoby, which is wild. It's a big decision. But
Burns and Gambo are on it, though.
They're on it. Once I saw Rap Sheet put a stamp in, and I said, all right, it got to be real. What's that?
Burns and Gambo are his peers.
That's my peers.
Those are his
Those
peers.
are my coworkers.
Hey, they did
so
good
it's
interviews.
legit then.
Good quote. Good quote there, D-Bud, from Burns and Gambo, who we certainly appreciate.
Yeah. I mean, that's huge. So it's a real benching at this point. Now, you still want him to get healthy, but you are going forward with Jacoby, and he's proved it. You get your opportunity, take full advantage of it. You can't lose the locker room by saying, hey, we're going with this guy because he's making $40 more million, because we're fighting. This is a good football team. It's a good football team.
Even last year, remember, they didn't win a lot of games, but it's like defense is going to be stubborn.
Yep.
Defense is going to be stubborn, and they were going to fight and fight and fight.
Yes.
It was like a lot of close games. Then this year, close games. It's like they're not as ass as their record has looked. Just like the Colts, kind of. The Colts were a team that was much better team than what didn't make the playoffs the last few years. Colts were a much better team than what their record showed. I think Arizona kind of the same. Now their record is still ass though.
Yeah,
it is. It's still an ass Chiefs record right now. If you look at that, but a lot of football left to maybe go on a run.
They have a long way to climb. There's really no room for error moving forward, but they're doing it differently than they have in the years past because they're run game coordinator, went to Dallas this offseason. They relied solely on the run the last couple of years, 13 personnel. They ran the heck out of the ball. Now, all of a sudden, they're becoming a passing team. They're doing a ton of play action, and they're pushing the ball down the field with Jacoby.
Jacoby might be a sleeper fantasy pick.
He might be.
Go ahead and trade for Jacoby. Sounds like they're going to be throwing the ball a lot. Marvin Harrison Jr. said whenever he was told that he was going to be a focal point in the Dallas Cowboys plan, he was excited about that. And then I saw somebody tweet, go, yeah, the guy should be a focal point. Yeah, maybe we should be focused.
Maybe every week.
Maybe we should do that. But nonetheless, Arizona Cardinals make a massive – what's next for Kyler? You know, the natural instinct for, football fans, especially whenever – Kyler has as much talent in his pinky as, some people have in their entire bodies. And we're talking about a super athlete here. This guy, unbelievable. We've obviously seen the highlights on football fields where he runs for 3 miles and he's outrunning everybody. We've seen him full speed run and have a perfect throw. We've seen him be able to do things on a football field that are very special athletically. But he's also top 10 draft pick in MLB. Okay.
Yeah.
Like also top 10 draft pick in MLB. How old is he? Can't be that old.
Like 27, I think.
Okay, so now the question is, if this is from Burns and Gambo,
And they know.
What's the station?
98.7 Arizona Sports.
Nice.
Nailed it.
Your peers.
Hell yeah. Nailed
But
it.
what's next for Kyler? You assume that maybe another team will say, hey, if we get him in our building, he'll be able to be unbelievable. But is there a little bit of Kyler that's maybe thinking, hey, I could see that curveball. I could see that curveball. And he's still young enough. He's still young enough to potentially be able to do that. How impossible would that be in that conversation? And how realistic? Probably not that much because other teams will want him. But we're talking about a freak athlete here whenever we're chit-chatting about Kyler. And I think that gets forgotten about with all the other stuff.
Yeah, I mean,
the video game stuff.
Right.
Clause in the contract stuff. And then this stuff and that stuff. It's like, hey, we're talking about a special elite athlete that has ever been one of one. Top 10 in both football and MLB. So I think that kind of gets lost in the conversation of all this.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he hasn't played baseball in like 6 years, and who knows how much, he's like going to the batting cages, because I'm sure he can still do that kind of stuff like pretty easily. But the big thing is like he hasn't played in 6 years, so it's not like he's going to be able to, let's say he's done with football, he's not going to go sign with like the Red Sox and then be on their opening day
I
roster.
see Russell Wilson at training camp.
Sure?
Like,
I see Russell Wilson comes jogging out.
yeah, he goes to spring training. He gets 2 at-bats. He strikes out. He looks like an idiot against like a guy who has been playing baseball and hasn't just taken 6 years off.
I hope Russell Wilson tweets you right now.
I hope he does too. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, it would be awesome.
That would be awesome.
Hey, this guy can't hit a curveball either. And what if Russell Wilson says to you in response to on a tweet, says, I'd take you yard 10 times. Just straight. Why don't you pitch against Russell Wilson?
I would love to, and I would hope Russell Wilson would take me yard 10 times because he's a Super Bowl winning quarterback. He's an unbelievable athlete, and he's also got drafted to play in
But
the
how
majors.
sick would that be if you struck his ass out?
I mean,
That'd be pretty sick. And you know what?
Yeah,
I was
Big
going to say, he's, he's never seen my knuckle curveball, so like we'll say that. But the big thing about Kyler is you make $200 million. Like, if you had made $200 million, do you want to go back down and play single A, double A, and be on buses with guys who, like, that's never going to happen, ever.
Is that what he has to do?
Yeah, there's no way that, I mean, I suppose he could get invited to like a team spring training and then all of a sudden it's like he's batting 500, he hits a bunch of homers, but there's just no, like, over the
Imagine
court.
Kyler walking into spring training, haven't played in 6 years. How do you do? Steps in there. Bomb.
But it'd also be a thing like, with Tebow, like, you know how much every one of those guys is relishing, like, I'm going to strike this motherfucker out. Like, this guy thinks he can just come in. Yeah, no, but that's what I'm saying. It's completely different. Obviously, Tebow, like, these guys knew that was kind of more of a publicity stunt. Like, yeah, he had played baseball before, but like Kyler, I mean,
he couldn't catch a fly ball.
I mean, yeah,
he
he got pop-ups bouncing off his head going into the crowd.
As somebody that played Frontier League baseball alongside Michael Jordan as well, I would say what I was doing, a little bit of a publicity stunt. A little bit of a publicity. I had a microphone.
Mic'd up.
I was
the whole
mic'd up
game.
having a conversation, maybe a little ahead of our time.
Yeah.
Now that you look at that entire thing, Tim Tebow was on these buses driving town to town.
Yeah.
I don't think he was doing it I think he was trying to make it in MLB. Like, I think he was
No,
trying to do
I
it.
agree. He absolutely was. Do you think personality-wise, How similar do you think Tim Tebow and Kyler Murray are?
Well, so what if Kyler, okay, so let's get rid of all the bus taken.
Okay.
In the single A.
That's a pretty big part of it, though.
Well, let's get rid of it.
Okay, all right.
Okay, let's get rid of it. It's out of the way.
Okay, all right.
Now we're double A.
Every game is in his backyard.
Bingo.
Okay,
They're
all right.
traveling to
Yeah,
him.
yeah.
He's got the money. We're buying the tickets.
Exactly. Okay.
Let's say move double A out of there, too. Let's say he goes in triple A. Okay, like they did with Mr. Skeens. Okay, he comes in triple A. Maybe here in Indianapolis.
Maybe.
Would be great to have him.
Ooh.
Not a chance that they would just drop him into AAA because he's a 28-year-old who might be a special talent?
There's a chance because I assume with a guy like that, like you said, like he is one of one. Like, and it could be like riding a bike, but I mean, just it's a lot. It's obviously very difficult. Like all these guys talk about how hard it is to hit a baseball, and I'm assuming that like if you're going to be an NFL quarterback, like there can't be any like he is all NFL. He hasn't probably thought about baseball.
That's
for
not
6
what I've
years.
heard, potentially.
Really?
I've heard that maybe there is bat to ball in some of the workouts in the offseason.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if that's the case, like, yeah, I mean, it might
I
be
would
like
like
riding a
Kyler
bike.
to know, we are not telling you should quit football. Okay? I'm not telling you that. But I'm saying if an opportunity presents itself for you to be one of the first of all time to do something, I wonder if that is something that kind of spurs motivation, inspiration to maybe go and get it. Or another NFL team would say, hey, you get in our building. You'll be. Imagine him with Kevin O'Connell. Not that he will because J.J. McCarthy is seemingly going to be a guy. But you start thinking about like an offensive gurus like that. If McDaniel got, with Caleb Williams, would they be able to time something up and be able to come in efficient offense, especially because he has an absolute host? Now, can he break down a defense? Will he spend all that type of stuff is the whole conversation, but we're talking about a special talent. And we need to never forget that.
And BA, obviously he's not coaching now, but you would think a lot of coaches probably still think like him, especially offensive-minded coach. Like, and BA definitely was not out on him. He's still, hey, Kyler, it can still be a guy. There's still a lot of tread on his tire. And he's 20-something years old. We talk about the freak athlete that he is. He has the arm talent. We've seen quarterbacks go to different systems and different coaches, and personality and all that stuff matters as well. But still, I think we'll obviously see Kyler Murray on the football field. But I mean, look, I would love him.
I don't want to see him die in single A. Kyler, you're representing the NFL now.
MJ did it, right? Where did he go? Where was the Barons?
Yeah, Birmingham Barons. I double A.
Okay, yeah, he did. I mean, MJ ain't too much shit now, but
back then also there was no internet, there was no Call of Duty. I don't think there was no real anything else to do, So,
MJ had shit to do.
Always did, didn't he? He was good at all of it. How about his legendary golf stories? Playing 36 holes before like a game 4 or whatever, game 3.
Scoring 50.
Yeah.
I played 36 holes with this guy. He's playing tonight. It's a playoff game. Drops 32, winks at me as he's going out. It's unbelievable. Guy, different. Couldn't even imagine him in the modern world, with all the content that is happening. Imagine him on a golf course day of a playoff game. Imagine if they caught Tyrese's big ass on the day of a playoff game. He would get absolutely eviscerated. Joining us now is a man who might have a little bit more information on all the moves that we saw yesterday. He's an insider everywhere, has friends literally in every single building. Now he's with ESPN, formerly Emmy Award winner at NFL Network. Ladies and gentlemen, Peter Schrager.
Yay!
Schrags, how you doing, brother? We're talking about Kyler Murray. Any thoughts on that entire situation over there?
I'll tell you this. I was there Monday for that Monday Night Football game, and I'm walking around the field before the game, and I'm, talking to everyone, doing my thing, kind of kissing babies, shaking hands, whatever. And everybody in Arizona, was talking about Jacoby Brissett and how good he had been the last 5 weeks, and what a shame it was that he wasn't able to get the victory. And they had 3 walk-off field goals. And the elephant in the room is there's Kyler Murray standing there. He's dressed in a Dallas Stars jersey, looked great, and he's there on the sidelines. And he was 9-0. in his life, going back to high school, college, and the pros in that building. And he was just a complete non-factor in this game because he was out with the injury. But the juice around Jacoby was so real that I came away from this one thinking, I don't know if they're just pumping him up or not, but there's maybe a future with Jacoby Brissett as the guy there. The problem is Kyler's contract the next 3 years. It's over $100 million in dead cap space. So what do you do with that? But in a post-Russell Wilson era where teams just say, rip the Band-Aid off, that might be the move. I'll say this. They are still paying Cliff Kingsbury his full salary. They are still paying Steve Keim his full salary. Those guys are from a different era. Those are the guys who brought Kyler in. These new guys, Gannon and Monty Ossenfort and his crew, they didn't draft Kyler. They didn't sign him to that extension And if you go to the owner and say, hey, we tried it for 2 years, we're going to move on, we got to take a financial hit, we'll figure it out, they might be more open to it than if they were the guys who actually drafted him.
That's crazy. Yeah. Anytime you got a new GM or new coach, new power, you have new allegiances and new loyalties and new visions. You know, how you see a team being is not necessarily the team that you've inherited whenever you're in charge. And I experienced it. You know, we got a new GM, and I was literally told during the negotiation process that there is no loyalty between us. And it was like, really?
Wow.
Yeah. I was literally told that piece of information. It was like, oh, okay, sounds good. So I'm gone, I guess.